Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. If you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Michelle Adamas. I'm the owner of Vintage Revival Design Co. And I am live here on my page as well as Birds of a Feather. And today we are going to be making over some Dollar Tree pumpkins. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the project for you. And let's see. Whoops, let me go here and I'm going to do it. Let's see if I can get it to go like this. And I want the project to be in focus. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So we are going to be making over these Dollar Tree pumpkins. I have 3 of them. We're going to make a little topiary out of them. They're just unfinished wood and they were found in the department, where they have their seasonal Halloween type things. We're going to be making them over with a technique that you may be familiar with. It's my first time working with it. We're going to be working with Roycycled decoupage papers, and we're going to be doing it with an image transfer technique. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So we are going to go from something like this, which is how our decoupage paper comes. Hi, Deborah. Thanks for saying hello. This is just a scrap. I think this is going to be a brilliant way to use up your scraps. And I can see so many ways to use this technique in the things that you do. Hi, Shannon. But we are going to be creating an image transfer like this out of our decoupage paper. It is called image transfer. Sometimes it could be used as washi tape or something like that, but we're going to be making this out of our decoupage paper. And so you can see the difference is that if we just decoupage the paper, it's just that design, and we would typically paint out white. Hi, Lori. And we would typically paint out white and decoupage over. But by doing this, we are able to create just a transparent piece of ephemera or whatever you want to call it that we can then use to decoupage even over color. And so I have done 2 of these. I'm going to show them to you first, and then I'm going to show you, we're going to do the top one together. So to get started, let me just explain to you what I did. I had 3 of these pumpkins and they were exactly like this. Hi, Karen. And what I did was I wanted to create a topiary. And so I laid one down on top of the other and I used a pencil to line it out. And then I was able to take a jigsaw and cut these shapes. So when I'm done, these will nest into each other like a topiary. And I decided to go with a Halloween theme. So I chose elements out of my scraps, as well as out of the Halloween Masterboard, which is a newer paper that has come out. And so let me show you how we make the tape, and then I'll talk to you about the paint finish that I did. I'll set these aside. So to make our tape, I'm just going to do an example on, we're just going to do a little strip here. And so this is a scrap from my scrap pile. And I'm going to use packing tape. I'm putting this down on a sheet of wax paper so that the tape doesn't stick to my desk. Hi, Joyce. Thanks for saying hello. And I'm going to just kind of pull a piece of tape here that's going to be a little bit bigger. Okay, and you do want it to be packing tape. And I'm going to hold that up. And I'm going to kind of lay this down. Hopefully I had enough. If not, that's okay. I can cut that off. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, this is a little tool that I use for decoupage, but I'm going to use the hard end of it to burnish my tape onto my paper. Okay. Just making sure that it's got really good contact. And then I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to use a pair of scissors just to cut off the excess tape. You don't have to do that at this point, but I think it just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm trimming off the tape. And then what we're going to do is we are going to set this in a bowl of warm water, which I have right here. I'm going to set this in. I'm just going to drop it in just like that. And it's going to sit for just a few seconds, maybe up to a minute. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Chris. Hi, Angela. So that is going to sit in the water. And then, so while that's sitting in the water for a few seconds, I'll let you know that I took my unfinished pumpkin, and how I created this finish. I decided to go with orange because I'm making this more of like a Halloween door hanger type thing for our front door for Halloween evening. And so I had a lot of water in my brush and then brushed on 3 colors of Wise Owl paint. I used saffron thread. I used this one of the newer seasonal colors. This is called Fireside, and I used earth. And we're going to be using earth again just to kind of finish off our pumpkins. But all I really did was take a really wet brush and created a wash of all of those colors just to create some variation. We'll be finishing off the sides of these as we get done. So I believe that our paper has sat in the water for long enough. And so I'm going to just lay down a microfiber cloth, and then I have another one. And so we're going to take this out of the paper. Hopefully it has sat for a long time. I'm going to put the tape side down on here, and then I'm just going to wet another cloth, and I am going to take away the paper pulp. You can see this here. So I am just removing the paper pulp from the back side as much as I can. I have some pieces that I'll be working with today that I started to go back and get the rest of the paper pulp off, but I felt like it created like a really cool kind of cobweb effect. And so Front Room on 7th is here, and Karen is here. Thank you. And so I'm just removing the paper pulp from the back of this. Okay. And so now you can see that we've gone from this to this, and it's clear, but we still have all of that beautiful graphic design on our piece. So I think that this has a lot of applications. I took some strips from a project block, and you can see how using the tape over like a piece of paper and the script still shows through. So you could use this like washi tape in mixed media projects, art journals, making cards, wrapping. I can just think of so many ways to use this. And so I have this little strip, and then I can wipe it back. If you still have some paper pulp, you can work it out. You can also do it with your fingers like this, but if you're doing a lot of them, your fingers are going to wear out pretty quickly. So it is kind of like magic. So let's see. Yeah, so I have not used it with the decoupage paper. And so I just thought, gosh, I just want to try this so that I could decoupage it over color. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'll show you the other 2 pumpkins again. This is how far I've gotten. This is my middle section. I put a little M here so that I would remember as I cut these. And then this is my my bottom pumpkin. And so we're going to do the top pumpkin together. And then I will show you how I'm going to put it all together. So I'm going to move this little wet rag out of the way. And what I did was I've chosen a few. I've already made some. So you can see where I left a little bit of the pulp in here. And I was going to remove it, but again, I think it looks a lot like a, just like a little bit of like a spider web. And so I thought it was perfect for Halloween. I'm going to do the middle section first. What we are going to be using for our medium today is the same thing that we're going to be using as our sealer. We're going to be working with a product by Golden, and this is called a gel. It's a soft gel medium, and I'm using matte. I don't know if you can see this, but this is how it started, very shiny, right? Because it's got packing tape on it. But when you apply the matte medium on it, all of a sudden you can make it matte. And that's the look I wanted. So I'm not really, unless I'm making something that I want to look like faux glass or something, I am going to be using something that will make it matte. So I think this is super cool. This is just on a piece of scrap of the copper paper, and I thought that was really fun. So, hi Sherry, how are you? You could use it as washi tape, but we use decoupage paper and created an image transfer that's transparent. And I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then I'll come back and answer any questions that you might have. So it comes like this. It's pretty thick. You can get a heavy-bodied gel, or you can use a soft gel. These are used as an adhesive, also as a sealer, and it also is something that you can mix in your acrylic paints and make them more transparent. It's just, I'm really learning a lot about the different uses for it, but this is what I know. So rather than dig out a decoupage medium and a sealer and all of that, I just thought this would be fun to do. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to do this middle one first, and I'm going to just kind of decide where I want this. I'm going to use this one. This is from the Halloween Masterboard, and it's got a little bit of stick to it, but not much. But I want to lay it in place, and then I'm just going to brush on my medium, just like you do or whatever medium you're using. We're decoupaging the same, it's just that we're using a different medium. And if you get some on your project, don't worry about it, because it's going to dry matte. So I'm going to push that down. And again, I'm going to use the firm side of my little decoupage helper and burnish that. And then I'm just going to lift up a little bit, and I'm going to apply it like this. And if you missed any part of this, because we made the tape image transfer at the beginning of this, this will be on replay for you, so you can go back and watch the first few minutes of it and get caught up. Okay, so I'm going to burnish this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some fussy cut scissors, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. And I've got a little bit of a buildup of my medium, so I won't let that bother me. It's pooling down here, so I'll be able to get that. I'll just pick it up a little bit with my brush here and see if I can work with that. I've got a little more here, so I'm just going to get a little bit of that extra out so it doesn't guck up my scissors. Okay. And so then what I'm going to do is, using the edge of the little raised area, I'm going to lay my scissors kind of sideways so that I'm just getting as close to that edge as I possibly can. And I'm going to cut. I tried using an X-Acto knife, but it really did a number on, where the blade touched. So I found that using these little fussy cut scissors and just using the shape as a guide, that I could cut my shape. And I'll save this, like for the raven or something like that. I'll save it for something else. And I'm pushing down, and now I'll go to the other side. I just want to get right in there. And I'm cutting this out. I love, love, love that we can have these beautiful designs on color as well. I think that's amazing that we can do that. So I'm just going to burnish this down again. And now we're going to go on to the other section here. I pulled out two scraps from the paper that I have that is called, I believe this is Dreams of Flight, but because it's a scrap, I can't tell you if this is the Dreams of Flight 1 or the Dreams of Flight 2. I cannot tell you that. So hi Kim, how are you? And we have Mary here, and I think I said hello to Dorothy. Thanks so much for saying hello, everybody. I really appreciate it. So let's start with this one. Here's the other cool thing. It doesn't quite go to the corner here. I can either, turn it like this. I'm just going to get it to fit as best as I can. And what's interesting, that I found interesting, is that because this is transparent, it is so much less obvious if you don't have a piece of, if it doesn't go all the way. And I think it's because we're using that same medium. So I'm kind of sticking this in place. I might have a little bubble there, I can always slit that with an X-Acto knife later and get that down. But let's go ahead and do this one. Yeah, this one, because I want the wings to be kind of going out on this other one. So we're going to lift this up and we're going to apply our gel medium. Again, we're just doing the same thing, but we'll finish this one and then I'll show you how we are going to make this pretty with a little distressing too. Okay, so I'm pushing that down, then holding it, because like I said, it's got a little stick, but it's not going to stick all on its own because we've removed some of the stickiness by putting it in water and rubbing it with a cloth. Okay, and I want a nice application, but it doesn't have to be super thin. Okay, so you can see I've got these little corners here, but it's really not going to matter. And I thought that was brilliant. So I'm gonna, ooh, got a little stick there. All right, so again, I'm gonna burnish this down. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my little fussy cut scissors and I'm gonna use, again, turning to the side. I'm really gonna have to wash these scissors. Turning to the side, using the shape as my guide. I'm just cutting around that shape. So again, I think this is going to be super fun for collage and art journals and just all kinds of things. I just love it. And oh, good. I'm so glad, Deborah. I hope you're going to try it. It's just super fun. And so let's go ahead. Let's see if I can do this way without pulling my paper up. Oh, my scissors are getting gunky, you guys. Oh, that's not good. Should have had some like alcohol wipes or something nearby, but I didn't. And I don't want that to stick down there. Okay, so I'm gonna just use it using my, I like that on this raised area that you can do that. And then I've just got a little clip right here that I'm gonna take off. Okay, and so we've done that side. So we've got one more side to do, and then this is gonna dry. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make this matte. So I also got some wings from the same Dreams of Flight. This one is a little bit larger, and so I can cover a little bit more of it. I can even kind of turn it to the side a little bit, which I think I will do just like that. And then again, the same thing. So it really doesn't take that long to do. Let me know how you would use this. So if you're watching this and this is intriguing to you, what ideas are you thinking about? I was thinking about packaging, cards, collage, that kind of thing. But what are some things that you would be excited to use this technique in? Share that with me. I'd love to know. Okay, so we're going to push that down. Just do this one last one, and then I can rescue my poor scissors before I ruin them. And again, if I get matte medium all over the place, it's okay. It dries clear. Okay, I'm going to push this down and burnish it, and we are almost done. We'll be able to reveal our pumpkin. Okay, and then let's see if I can wipe these off just a little bit with some of the water so it doesn't get too sticky. Okay, almost done. Okay, so we are going to use our shape. Okay, and I'm going to push that down. And again, it helps if you can hold them to the side a little bit so that one blade, your bottom blade, is following the curve or your shape, and your others are doing the work here, right? Okay, so let's go. I'm almost done. I think I'm going to come from this direction and see if I can get it a little bit better. Did I get it? I did. Okay, so we're going to burnish this. Oops, went in the wrong direction there. And so this is going to dry underneath. And now what I'm going to do is, because I don't want it shiny, you can see how shiny that is? That's super shiny. And so this is where we're going to add our matte medium to this. And it is going to take all the shine away and make it completely matte. So I love that it can do both, that it can seal and it can decoupage, you know, that it can glue this down. Because as you can imagine, with the tape, the paper is heavier in weight, for sure. Okay. All right, so we've got this. Okay, and I'm putting that on. And so when this dries, and I'm going to let it dry, so I'm not going to really do anything with the edges on this one. So I'm going to let this dry, but you can see it still looks a little shiny, but it's going to be completely matte when we are done. Okay. And so let's take the one, I'm trying to think of which one. I already did the little edges on this one. So let's take this little middle piece. It's a little shiny right here. So I'll just do a little more matte medium a little bit later on that. But I'm going to just take, working on this same wax paper so I don't waste it, I'm going to take a little section and I'm going to take that earth paint, the brown paint that I used. And I'm going to just put a little, I'll just work out of the lid. Okay, this is just a really pretty brown earth color. And I'm going to go here and I'm just going to dab it. These are little sponge daubers. I think I got those at the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just going to go around my edges here, not worrying if I get some in the center here. But this is just going to, you can see how the edges like can be just a little bit rough or ragged, and this just blends them in, and it also gives a little more aging to the pumpkin, which I think is nice. So we're just kind of antiquing it a little bit. Okay. Going around my edges. I want to make sure that I do my edges on the sides so that those look finished as well. I'll just use that sponge to paint them. And I'm going to go around here and here. And so now you can see that we've got a little bit of aging. And I think that's really fun. So let me get all three pieces and I'll show you one more time how we're going to do that. I'll show you how we're going to attach them when they are done. Let me just clean up just a little bit. Set this stuff aside, my tapes. This is one, let me show you this. So I tried to use an inkjet print. And so you definitely need, so it works great with the decoupage paper, and I think it would work great with other papers, but you need a toner print to make this work. And here's an example. This is part of a scrap of a rivets paper. And as I was taking this off, I was taking the ink off too. I tried sealing the paper with a workable fixative spray. I tried sealing it with the matte medium, and it still didn't work. So if you're working with a printable or something like that, and you only have an inkjet printer, you really want to go ahead and send it off. Get a toner copy from your copy store or something like that. So I have yet to find a way to really get that to work, and I tried and tried and tried. So here's one more example of just like, see how you can see when you do your tape, and then you can see that through it. And again, I'll show you, this was just the strip from the project block, and I love how you can see the script through it, so it's really transparent. I just love this. I think it's really fun. It's a technique that's been around for forever, but I had not tried it yet, and I thought I'm going to try it with a decoupage paper and see what happens, and I was thrilled. So What I'm going to do is when these are done, I'm not going to put the top one on because if I need to fill in a little bit, I'll probably use my adhesive, but I am going to be attaching these by gluing 2 little popsicle sticks to the back. And that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to attach them easy peasy with some glue. And then when it's all done, we can look at the whole pumpkin here together, even though this one isn't completely dry. And I've got a little bit more, but you can see how the 3 of them together, I just think that was a fun little Dollar Tree craft. So that's what I have. I hope that this was, fun for you, something that you might want to try. Um, you know, I just think it has so many uses, and I think it's a fun way to use up your scraps. Hi, Angie. And I just think it's a really fun way to use up your scraps. So it's starting to get super dark in here. It's going to rain again. I hope wherever you are, you're having great weather and that it's dry. So I'm going to hop off and I will come back and answer all the questions in the comments. And as always, thank you so, so much for joining me. I am committing to being live every Wednesday, at least for the next 12 weeks. It'll be at 4:30. Sometimes it'll be on Birds of a Feather too, but it will always at least be here on my page. And I know that that's not like the optimal time to go live, but while you can watch a video on replay, my family time doesn't come on replay. And so I'm trying to, make sure that I can reserve as much of the evening times for my family when we have a chance to be together. And so anyway, but every Wednesday you can catch me here at 4:30, and I'll be back on with to answer your comments. I hope you all are well and you have the best night. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.